Teachers want to do the best job they can, but without objective data on exactly what they are doing and how that relates to or doesn't relate to what we know about effective teaching practices, it's really hard for them to change.
How do we change the way that we have gone about educating students, how we've gone about supporting teachers, so that it is just a collaboration and we're working to meet the needs of teachers, working to meet the needs of students. And I do think that in Kansas, the Kansas Learning Network can help provide that framework for us.
The Learning Network is so different than what we've seen in education in the past, where consultants typically come in, spend a couple days with the district or the school, and then that consultant leaves and says, here's our recommendations, good luck getting those implemented.
When I joined the Hayesville School District, the district had not made AYP that year, and ended up on their second year not making AYP.
It's not always easy to hear things that maybe you're not doing so well.
I felt like it was wearing a scarlet letter on my jacket that said, we're on improvement, and no, it's hard for districts to go there.
We had been on improvement for over 5 years, and we were in the corrective action stages. And the opportunity came available for the Kansas Learning Network, and I had a conversation with our school board president and said, I think this is something that we should do.
We started with some observations of other districts as part of our Kansas Learning Network process.
They gave an overview of what we were going to be doing, but then they started talking about the issues in that school district, the strengths and the challenges that they were facing. And as I listened to it, I realized, well, wow, this is a lot of the same stuff that we have in Parsons.
We realized that we aren't just out on our own on this island by ourselves.
It alleviated a lot of our fears and for when they came to visit us, and so we kind of knew what was going to be happening.
We knew we needed a tool to immediately go in and find out quickly about a district, what were their strengths, what were their weaknesses, and then work with them to kind of also help them target a path to improvement.
From our particular needs assessment, it asked us to think about how we as a system can become more cohesive.
We were able to elaborate on what we had been doing, but it also allowed us to see what we had missed, because nothing is ever perfect.
Kind of like looking in the mirror. Some of that stuff I think certainly we knew was there. Some of it we didn't. And through that extensive process, I think that we're going to be much better as a result.
This report tells us that we need to invest the resources in a little bit different way. And so all through the budget challenges that we've had in the state of Kansas and in our planning for improving instruction, we've referenced back to the KLN needs assessment.
It brought to the surface things that we already knew that were problems and that we needed to address. And it gave the district focus with the recommendations and telling us as a district that we needed to address these specific things.
With the Learning Network, they come in, the implementation coaches and the other people from the network, and they say, guess what? Not only are we here today, but we're going to be here in a couple weeks, and we're going to be here 24 days throughout the school year. And so we're here to help you, truly help you, and not just leave you with a bunch of recommendations.
This really is about improvement, not just for me at the classroom level, but for our school and more broadly for our district.
Every administrator is getting trained from superintendent on down. The staff has bought into the process. It's been very positive to have every administrator in one building for an hour. We divide up and come back and report out what we saw and try to be on the same page.
With KLN, one of the things that I've really appreciated is working with the implementation coach.
I know the first time they said we were going to have a critical friend, it's a little scary because you think, critical friend, he's going to tell it like it is.
And immediately I felt just at ease working with her and talking with her.
You're not afraid to say, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, help us, we need this, we need that.
This was a group of people who were really coming in trying to help us in a collaborative, respectful way.
Having facilitator, also having the consultant, this technical assistance brings experts from around the country to help out our school district in a way that we've never been able to experience before.
This is a wonderful opportunity to try to do things that weren't being done, give particularly smaller communities a chance to improve at a faster rate than they ever could have.
It's not something where somebody comes in and drops a program and goes away. It's helping people learn to behave differently so that it can be sustained and ongoing. I think that has incredible value.
I think for so long in education, we have been siloed. We've had different departments and different agencies and different grade levels, all working for the benefit of meeting the needs of students and trying to do the very best that we can, but we do that separately. And what I think the benefit of the Kansas Learning Network is to bring people together to have a more cohesive approach in meeting the needs of all students. And additionally, meeting the needs of the educators that are providing supports to students.
Probably the thing that's been most positive is just the networking. You know, we've had an opportunity to sit and meet with colleagues from other school districts across the state of Kansas.
I feel free to call other districts and say, how are you doing that? That's not working for us. And it's almost okay for it not to be working because other folks are saying, we've been there too. It wasn't working for us either, and here's what we did to address it.
They have a lot of things going on between the districts that never would have happened before, even like sharing resources, sharing some staff members, talking about some different ways of doing business.
I could pick up the phone and I can call them directly, where before this, I don't know that I would have had the relationships or the ability to do that.
Having access to the latest trends, the latest research, and knowing about it and knowing how we can apply it. That's been great for me.
We made AYP this year. We haven't done that in a while. We made it across the board. Test scores went up.
Obviously, we want to be the best that we can be. We want our graduation rate to go up. We want our dropout rate to decrease. We want our attendance to increase. We want kids to walk out of school college ready.
There's so much more sense of honesty and trustworthiness among our team that I really feel for the first time in 5 years we're moving forward.
This whole process has pulled us together to where we know exactly where we want to go, and now we're making that map of how we're going to get there.
From the classroom to the building to the district, we have to be aligned, but it's beyond that. It has to be alignment with the state and alignment with the federal.
I think a perfect scenario with the Learning Network would be that we could start to look forward to be in front of trends and be in front of the needs of our students.
This process has made me a stronger administrator.
I now have a clearer understanding of what type of instruction should be taking place and how it affects learning.
Because of the KLN experience, the leadership team was ready to look at ourselves and do our work differently.
So it's really just, put a little energy back into all of us, not just myself, but I think the whole district.
We're a close staff, but I think this has brought us together even more.
What's the path between where we are and where we want to be?
What have you thought of that we haven't thought of?
What can we do to make ourselves better?
That's what it's all about. What's our next step? What's our next right answer? And how do we get better? If we don't get better, kids don't get better.
I mean, when it's right out in front of you, you've got to face it.
We probably should have been networking together a lot sooner.
Good things are happening.
It's proven to be effective.
I would have done it again, and I'd do it again tomorrow.
I'm really happy to be a part of Cross&Joftus, and I'm really happy to be in the state of Kansas making it happen.
It's been a good process, and I would recommend that when districts have the opportunity, they avail themselves to it. It's been great.
We have had people from the school districts involved in the Learning Network present to the state board, and every one of them said there's no way we could have made the growth and the gains and made some pretty tough decisions and changes had it not been for the work of the Learning Network.